Hi, my name is Stephanie Gordon, and I'm excited to share my product with you, the Whip the Runway Christian Fashion Show Tour produced by Mad Management Group. This is a Christian fashion show series showcasing faith-based couture that empowers generations. Christians are people, and people have a desire to be spiritually fulfilled beyond the pulpits of their churches. So, the Whip the Runway Christian Fashion Show Tour is an evangelical alternative to mainstream fashion and entertainment. We love God, not religion, and through fashion, we believe that lost generations will certainly turn from death to life and fear nothing at the cost of winning everything, meaning heavenly eternity. So we are on a national mission to create a captivating, Holy Spirit encountering atmosphere in a city to share the gospel of Jesus Christ through fashion and relatable entertainment. This show promises to be an experience equipped with a VIP lounge, a red carpet entrance and pre-show, exclusive backstage access, and live entertainment. You name it, we're bringing it. The object is to encounter the essence of the uncompromising truth through Christian couture. This will be a ticketed event with fundraising potential. The Christian community is thirsty for a fashion that speaks to a culture. Believers and non-believers want it. They've asked for it. In fact, we've surveyed, done market research, and we know that they are now demanding it. So we're giving it. This is an intentional opportunity to evangelize and permanently change the community. So, where are we going? New York City, the Big Apple. We'll be in New York City at the Rock Church Queens on November 2nd, 2012. Doors open at 7:15. Show begins at 8 p.m. Officially, this is an event that is in the works. This event will include live entertainment, live band, create an experience. We want folks to look at the garments on the runway and imagine themselves in those things and be motivated and empowered to leave there, purchase the garments, wear them proud, and declare their faith through fashion. We're going around the world. This tour won't stop until God says it stops. We really believe that we can create a movement that shakes up a generation and empowers them to start loving God and not religion. Our target audience is teenagers and young adults from single and married parent households in metropolitan areas, representing all ethnicities housed in urban and suburban communities. Folks buying the tickets are their parents, ages 30 to 45, incomes 25,000 or more, and major metropolitan areas, suburban communities, again, representing all ethnicities. Even the runway is going to be built with models that are all shapes, all sizes, and all ethnicities. We want to show what we believe the kingdom of God to really look like in eternity. And that's a melting pot of races, a melting pot of ethnicities, genders, you name it, everyone's up there. This venue is unique. We get the venue for free because the church is hosting the event. It's got a large and unique stage of which a runway can be custom built from it. The balcony can accommodate 500 plus, but the floor can seat about 1,500. This facility was an old theater that's been remodeled into a 3-story church. They've laid new carpet. They've got recessed lighting. It's gotten a facelift, so it definitely matches the personality of the fashion show. So now what? We pay for everything and the church gets money. Believe it or not, that's exactly how it works. The direct cost for the show, obviously, is the runway rental, the price to print the tickets, our print marketing and advertising, the media wall for the red carpet experience, and our so famous Whip the Runway t-shirts. The indirect costs are going to be picked up by the facility. They pay for the use of the electricity in the space, the heating and air in the space. Their volunteers that are already on staff to run their cameras for their services will be there for the night of the show. And they'll also corral some volunteers from their church to advertise by way of street marketing. I'll be discreet with the figures that I share as this is an official event in the works, and some of our numbers are privileged and confidential, but in a nutshell, the biggest expense right now is the runway rental. $1,000 is pretty much general across the board, coast to coast. The biggest pocket of expense is the travel. When we did our first show in Cincinnati, we paid for the apparel, so we won't be paying for any apparel this time. Marketing and PR is another big expense. Expected though, administrative costs. And we are in New York City, and this is the first time they've seen anything like this. So they are on board to do whatever they can to make this show a success for us. And one of the ways that we gauge success is by the amount of money we keep at the end, after we have given the facility some of the money for hosting the event. So to help with that, they have dedicated themselves to giving us resources to keep our operating expenses decreased or non-existent altogether, which is why you don't see any figures in the show production. We've got a team to come in and do hair, a team to come in and do makeup. In fact, MAC has agreed to sponsor the makeup for the show. We have the photographer and videographer that's already on staff at the Rock Church. And all of the entertainment. These are aspiring singers, aspiring dancers, and all they want is for their talent to be seen. So they're not signed to any management, they're not signed to any label, they just want to get out there and perform. So we have the ability to use their talents for free. Here's the fundraising potential. The church keeps 10 to 15% of our net ticket sales. In the event that we don't have an event sponsor, here are how the numbers break down. At the end of the day, if we sell out the house of 1,000, then the church can make up to $750, which is 15% of 1,000 tickets being sold at the rate of $10 per ticket. If we do have an event sponsor, then the church can make $1,500, which is 15% of the 1,000 tickets sold at $10 per ticket. Here's an example of our travel rider, and we adjust this as we go from market to market. In the event that the church decides to pick up the expense of our travel, then these are our specs that we give them. An example of another rider, or a memorandum of understanding as we call it, is for the designer profile. So our designers that have offered so graciously to offer their garments for the runway free of charge, we make a promise to them that they can sell their items in the standard 10 by 10 vendor space. They give us the garments for free. We preserve the items and we take them on the road with us from show to show. They have the ability to swap in and out the designs that they want to appear on the runway. For example, if they commit to the show in the spring, but they have a new line coming in the fall, then they have the option to take out the spring garments and retain them, and then fill those empty spring garments with fall garments. The casting call at a glance. Everything starts at 3 p.m. We arrive on site. We meet with the team of directors that the church has offered. We perform the casting call, take a break, and we do some model and evaluations amongst the panel, and then we do the entertainment casting call. The idea here is to keep the operational costs down to an absolute minimum. So we only like to go to the facility twice. Once as a preparation and planning, the second is to actually produce the show. So we have one casting call stretched over a span of a couple of hours, of which we evaluate the models that show for the call, and we evaluate the entertainment. Here's a casting call checklist that we make available to all of our hosts. This makes for a very, very efficient casting call process. We want a space that's large enough to accommodate us and a catwalk. We want a space that has a free pre-function area so that the models and entertainment can sign in and have their headshots taken. We have directional signage. That's an absolute must, especially when we go to a facility like the Rock Church. It's 3 levels, and people can get lost there very quickly, very easily. Show day. Call time is at 2 p.m. We as a team arrive on site at 1 p.m. to prepare to receive all of the cast members, from dancers to models to hair to makeup to photography. We ask that our team be there at 1 o'clock so that the call times can subsequently fall in order. The risk is moderate. If we don't sell out a house and we don't have a sponsor, then we eat the cost of the show. If we do sell out the house and we do have a sponsor, then we reap the biggest harvest possible. If we do sell out the house, but we don't have a sponsor, that's what we call an average show. So the thing that affects the risk the most is how vocal the on-site team is in their evangelism and in their grassroots effort to bring more notoriety to the brand and to bring more notoriety to the product and to get butts in the seat. To reduce the amount of risk, we make it very, very clear what everyone's lane is and how they are supposed to execute and what our expectations as show producers are for them and their role. As a show producer, it's my job to make sure that everyone knows exactly what they're doing. My backstage manager also has the burden of responsibility to make sure that everyone knows what they're doing. She is the liaison between the on-site location and MAD management. Now here's where the rubber meets the road. When we identify each of these directors at the host organization, we give them the tools to go out and recruit their own team and team of volunteers. Entertainment directors responsible for the dancers, responsible for the entertainment. If we do have a celebrity artist, they're responsible for the hospitality the night of the event. The glam team, very self-explanatory. Check the models before they hit the runway. House manager, make sure that everything flows with ease, no chaos, no confusion. The guests come in and enjoy the experience from the moment they step over the threshold of the front door. The promotional director, very, very influential, very, very crucial. They are a member of the host organization, which means they know the culture of the organization or the culture of the church, and they know what tools they have, what resources they have to maximize their efforts in bringing people to the show the night of the event. There is no backup plan. This show must succeed. We put something in place, such as checklists that show when things need to be done. So 3 months before we enter a market, that's when we've finally decided on the show. And substantial planning is done. We have a 90-day checklist, a 60-day checklist, a 45-day checklist. The checklists are what keep us on track so that we don't have to execute a plan B. In the event that a facility cancels the show, then we recoup with the memorandum of understanding that we have with them. We consider this a gentleman's handshake. So the lessons I've learned here, we've already produced this show once in Cincinnati. We did not expect that it would catapult to the degree that it has. But the one lesson that I learned in planning this is that if we look at the big picture while there's no stress, then there's least amount of opportunity for failure. When we identify the problems as we are planning, then that's when there's most opportunity for failure and destruction. So this is Whip the Runway, a Christian fashion show tour coming to a city near you. Our goal here is to teach everyone to love God, not religion.